Behind all of the, I've written here, grandstanding, the sound bites, the staging and the briefings, what has really changed? We were always pushing towards a deadline that was not Salzburg.
That's right. We were never expecting some sort of deal to be hatched at this summit. I think what's been slightly surprising has been some of the tone. I think a lot of the mood music in the lead up to this was that people were softening their positions, that there was a little bit of optimism, there was a bit of a drive towards, or a momentum towards getting a deal. And what we've seen is actually people locking in their positions or digging in their heels a little bit more. And those headlines you just ran through don't make very comfortable reading, obviously, this morning. But look at the market reaction. It's pretty muted. And of course, you know, Mrs. May herself saying this is a negotiating tactic. You know, at what stage has anyone seen the European Union in a big negotiation hatch anything really any time before
ahead of
the very
deadline.
last minute?
Yeah.
Exactly. So really, we're just sort of battling down the hatches, steeling ourselves for that all-nighter at some point, whether it's in October at the European Council or at the special summit they're talking about in November. Of course, this is going up to the wire. One of the interesting things, though, is to see Mrs. May saying they do have another proposal on Ireland. We don't know what the details of that are. She's saying that we're going to get those details in a few days or weeks. We have the Conservative conference coming up as well. That's the other hurdle that we've got to get through, or that she's got to get to. Remember the slightly calamitous one she had this time last year. Once that is done, we might see some more shifting of the sands. But at the moment, despite those rather hysterical headlines, I don't think we need to panic just yet.
Another hurdle for Theresa May, this time in Birmingham. I'll be there at this conference. Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we do see the pound trading at almost $1.33. So there's some pretty serious strength there. It could be argued that's dollar weakness. But, you know, I think it's a great point that you make, David. We always see EU negotiations come out at the last minute. And the sentiment changes seemingly at the drop of a hat, right? You've been covering this since the decision was made. How unlikely is it that next week we all think a Brexit deal is imminent?
That's right. If you see the pound trading particularly has been unbelievably skittish over the last few weeks. A headline on one side or the other causing big jumps of a percentage point here and there. But I think if you look at the broader trend, as you pointed out, cable back up to sort of 132, 133, the trend in the last few weeks has been positive. Maybe that's to do with dollar weakness, but it's also to do with the fact that I think behind the scenes the mood has been more optimistic that we are moving towards getting some sort of deal in the next few months. Of course, all of that can change. The markets are very sensitive to headlines, and that's why any comment from Tusk or from Juncker or from May does tend to get a reaction. But I think look at the broader trend here, and the picture becomes a little bit less, as I said, hysterical.